Okay, last tutorial. I'm going to write some music using the same modes as the Zelda example. So using the first, fourth, and fifth modes of the major scale. And we'll make it kind of like chill village music. So here's the first mode, ionian, which is the major scale. And we'll just put that here. The fourth mode of the major scale is lydian, which starts on F. So we're going to take all the notes up to F, copy and paste it here. Let's move this up the octave, backspace, there's F lydian. And we'll put that here. And the fifth mode is mixolydian, and that's on the fifth degree of the major scale, which is starting on G. So we'll take these notes, copy, paste, transpose up an octave, and there's G mixolydian. And we'll put that over here. Okay, here we go. So starting with C, we're in the key of C, so let's kind of establish a stable C chord. And I was thinking about writing it in 3. So we're going to need to get a timekeeper track at some point. So let's start with the root and the fifth degrees. Let's make it a little bit slower. And here's root fifth, and to establish this tonality, we're going to need the third and the fifth degree. So that's E and G. And let's repeat those like this. We'll make this sound a little bit more interesting in a second. It's just establishing the foundation. Okay, I like that tempo. Now we're going to need a timekeeper track, so I'm going to put it in on 7. And that needs to be, we're at speed 20, so this needs to be at 15. And we also need to loop all of our SFX. Okay, that's good for now. Okay, so here's our C chord. And let's move to F, the Lydian chord here. So that's going to be root, F, and then fifth here. And let's actually take all of this and move it down an octave. So I've highlighted everything, Shift Z. Okay, and now same thing, we need the third of F, which is A, and the fifth, which is C. And we'll use the same fade out effect. Okay, so that doesn't sound quite right, so I'm just going to experiment the ranges. Okay, that's good. And we'll copy this again down here. Okay, now I just want to make it sound a little bit more interesting. So let's play with different instruments and with some volume and effects. Maybe a little louder. Kind of has a cool tail there. Yeah, I like that. And let's copy these effects and volume columns and put them down here. And we need F here and C here. Okay, now let's make this sound a little bit more interesting. Let's try 7-0 and 4-2-4-2. Yeah, it just tightens it up a little bit. Okay, now let's repeat that again here. Except on the second time, let's go to G mixolydian. So I'm going to take 8, 9, and 10. I've copied, 8, 9, and 10. Copied those 3 SFX down here, and I'll paste them into 11, 12, and 13. 11, 12, 13. So this should sound the same. except this time, instead of going to F, we're going to go to G. So here's the root and the fifth, and we want to move these down the octave. And here we have the third. So the third of G is B, and the fifth is D. Let's see what this sounds like. I'm just going to experiment with the ranges. Okay, good. So now I just realized that we want to write a melody on top of this. So, and we can't really write anything in this SFX because it's moving at a different speed. So to save space, what we're going to do, we're going to write a melody in this SFX, but we need to free up some space. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this part and move it over here. And let's just edit this so that, whoops, let's get rid of this. Let's make sure this sounds good. Okay, that's fine. So we'll take this part, move it over here. Same thing here. And we need to do that with the next pattern as well. So sometimes using the mouse is just faster. Okay, so now we can erase everything in 13, and we can erase everything in 10. And let's just make sure this sounds okay. Okay, so let's repeat that here, except the second time we're going to write a little melody. So we can write it in 10 and 13. So looking at these three modes, what notes do we use for composing a melody? So pretty much I would probably stick to the Ionian mode just to start. So let's see what happens when we use the start on the 5th degree of the Ionian mode. And then we know that E is also kind of a stable point. So let's move down to an E. And then here, this is where it changes to Lydian. So we can maybe move from the 3rd degree of C to the 3rd degree of F Lydian. Okay, let's see what this sounds like. And let's add some volume tails. And some vibrato to spice it up. Okay, let's just change the timing of this. So right now this melody is moving from G to E on this row, but the harmony, sorry, the rhythm of the phrase kind of changes right here. So I'm just going to take the E and move it up like this. And let's just edit these volume tails a little bit more. Okay, so one thing I could say about this is that even though I've lined up the changing of the melody, I've lined up the change of the melody pretty much exactly with the meter here. So every time that there's a new bass note over here, there is a new melody. So just to change it a little bit, I'm going to keep this A just for a little bit longer. And let's move it up the octave. And then let's take the same thing and repeat it in the next pattern. Okay, so but we have a change in harmony here where it goes to G mixolydian right here. But you see I'm on A here, And this might sound a little bit dissonant in relationship to everything else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this from A to a D. And then down to the third degree. Okay, let's see what that sounds like. Actually, okay, we actually don't even really need this B in here. And then we can repeat that here, and we don't need this melody. Okay. All right, let's see what that sounds like from the beginning. Okay, so here at pattern 5, something needs to change here, because right now we've got 2-3 and then 4-5, and 4-5 is an exact repetition of 2-3. But something I think needs to change in 05. So let's let me have another listen. Okay, so how about what we can do is that we know that we're in the key of C major, and ionian is kind of the place of stability where we want the phrase to end. So in pattern 03, the second phrase starts on ionian and then finishes on mixolydian. So what we want to do is reverse that, and we're going to do that in pattern 14, 15, and 16. So that's going to be, let's take this and copy it in here. Let's just get the bass and the accompaniment first. So we want to start, rather than starting on C, we want to start on G. And so the third degree is B. The fifth degree is D. We'll move around these values in a second. Same thing, third degree. And then here we want to finish on the root. Let's move that down the octave. And so we want the third degree here, fifth degree here, third degree here, fifth degree. Oh, and we need to move back to speed 20. Yeah, and now let's move this up to a C, because this is kind of our final cadence, our final destination for this phrase. And yeah, let's make this a C as well. Okay, so now let's take this melody, which was this, and paste this here, and let's see what melody we can write that reflects the change in harmony. How about, so we know D is the fifth degree of G, so let's go to D, and up the octave. Okay, and just to enhance the change in phrasing and harmony, we're just going to go like this. Okay, there's our little composition. Let's listen to it from the beginning. must change A, B, and what's our bass instrument? Here we go. And then repeat back to the beginning, which is pattern 02. Oh, and of course we have to loop all these. I'm supposed to loop back here. There you have it. There's some village music in about 15 minutes using the 3 different modes of the major scale: Ionian, Lydian, and Mixolydian. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial series. Leave me all the comments and all the questions below. I answer everything. And good luck writing.